Welcome to another episode of Square Table Conversations, where we talk about topics that matter and give you our take on the topic. And today we're going to talk about debt traps.
Nowadays we can see that even if we don't even if we can't afford something, we can take it on an EMI basis, and whatever it is, like whether we want to construct a house, whether we are ready for it or not, we can take uh, a loan for it and start off with it. And whether it's buying a new vehicle or anything like that. So, what do you guys think about it? Whether it is good for people to take loans or fall into a potentially fall into a debt trap, or uh, how does it work?
So when you look at it, so I feel that from a business angle, a company would need that. It is a way of sourcing funds to run the company. And slowly, when you're starting off, obviously you wouldn't have generated any revenue. And once uh, your company starts generating revenue and profit, you can slowly repay back that loan. So in that way, it's a good system that has come into place. But unnecessarily taking loans is what you mentioned earlier. But if you see, even for a home loan, vehicle loan, you have to submit some documents. They will see your credit score. They'll see if you're able to repay it back. So uh, only when the bank feels that you have the capacity to pay back, that is when they will like allow you to take a loan. So I don't think it'll put someone in a trap if if the bank is analyzing that they have the potential to pay it back, but they take wrong financial decisions later and they don't repay it. That's when they fall into a debt trap.
Yeah, look, I agree with what you said, that people end up taking more or a huge amount of money than what they can afford to pay back, and banks are the one to assess it. But the major concern that we see these days is how easy it's become for anybody and everybody to get access of the money. And there are companies that have been coming up that just say zero interest. She spoke about EMI, zero interest EMI. You can take up money. You There are ways they've been marketing things like, once it was just a dream for you, now you can make it a reality. So let's talk about iPhone for that matter, right? Once it was a status symbol. Now anybody and everybody has an iPhone in their hand. Now that's good sales for the company, that's definitely. But it's also not a status symbol anymore, and uh, people are living beyond their means, and that's something that is like a negative impact of moving the money. And it's working out for credit companies, but it's the repercussions is faced by the ones who are falling into that trap. So I think companies that are easily giving away loans just for their things to move is not the right way forward for sourcing or financing somebody's dream. That's our take
When it
on
comes
this.
to like credit cards and like even for people who are in their 20s, early 20s, they would have just joined a job, or
Mm.
like their first job or second job, something. So it's very easy for them to get a credit card or
Yeah.
even take a home loan, if even if they're not ready, because as you said, banks do assess whether they can repay it, but I majorly see that banks see if those people have a job or not. If they have a full time job, then most of the loans are approved. So, but that doesn't mean that the person is
Will be
actually
able.
taking a wise decision by taking that a loan which is so big, because home loans are really big. And even credit cards, even students get credit cards. So I think such decisions are really bad for like those who are starting off, or for students to get credit cards, or just going on and on buying more and more things with credit cards and not being able to pay back. That has become a trend these days, so that is bad for.
So when it comes to credit cards, yes, I agree. So they have to be more responsible. They need to have a have a limit on how much they can spend and all that. And of course, like when it comes to students, yes, they're not earning, so it doesn't really make sense for them to have a credit card. But when it comes to an earning person, credit cards actually have a lot of advantages. Like they have a lot of these offers. You get a lot of things for cheaper rates if you use it responsibly and pay the bill on time. So, in a way, if you look at it, it makes them more responsible as a person. Like, they have that in mind that they can afford only this much, and it's like a cycle that they have to keep paying that. So, it makes them a more responsible person because it prepares them for maybe more things in the future or whatever it is. It makes them more responsible as a person because they have that in their mind constantly that they have to pay this and this is how much they can spend. So that's an advantage of a credit
I
card.
think that's true only uh, to a person who is more responsible. But what we are missing here is that if the person itself, you are giving credit card to anybody and everybody. It's not the person. You're not affecting the personality of a person just because he owns a credit card now, right? He the ones that you're talking about is a responsibility that a sense of responsibility that comes into the person after he's liable, he or she is liable to pay back that amount. But there are people who take up more than what they can afford to pay back in their entire lifetime, right? And the burden falls on the next generation as well. And sometimes forget the next generation coming in. The rates of suicide because of a loan that hasn't been paid off has increased rapidly and drastically in India. I mean, if you talk about stats now,
So
yeah.
yeah, credit card like from 2014 it was around 5.5 crores,
Hmm.
and on stats taken in 2024, like I think around Jan or something like that, it had grown to 10 crores. So around 81% increase in credit
Right.
card users.
People are just randomly being issued credit cards. Now, the ones who very, financially knowledgeable that way, who have the knowledge, they owning them owning a credit card makes sense because they will take wise decisions. But I think credit card companies, I mean, I think they just have this thing. If you're above 18, you're a legal adult. So yeah, they're okay with giving you, and that's why, like she said, a lot of students have their own credit cards right now. But what is happening is they are falling into the trap, and parents are liable to pay for it, which is none of their concern, right? And just because their child is in a mess right now, they obviously will cover for them. But this all of this could have been avoided if the right person was given the credit amount. And I also agree with how it's good for financing a business and all of that. Good. Again, a mature adult who's actually starting the business is given the initial capital because of these credit companies. Good for the company and good for the industry, good for the country, because that's how you're investing and growing the money. But for the younger generation, I think that there should be another criterion that is gotten they put in, where such things can be avoided and as a whole protect the sanity of the parents as well.
So the thing is, if you look at it from the system, the government and the banking system point of view, so when people take spend like they spend more, na, like when they have a credit card, that sort of boosts the GDP,
Huh.
right? This
Movement of cash is
the
what is.
movement of cash is more,
Yes.
and they earn more in form of interest as well when
Yes.
someone defaults.
Yes.
So for the system, they will push for a credit card or a debt, and also the person who's using it responsibly will get tax benefits. They will get that extra period to pay back the amount. But there are so many like rules also when you're taking a debt. For example, if you take a loan for a vehicle loan, there's this thing that you have to make. You should ensure you have this much amount for down payment, and the EMI that you're paying should not be more than I think 10% or 20% of your monthly income, and it should be within, you should pay it back within 3 to 4 years. There are rules like that, and there are rules like that even for a house loan when you're taking such loans. So people should ensure they use it responsibly. You see that the system is benefiting when
Yeah.
people are taking loans, or they're like they're using these credit cards. So are the people benefiting. But when the people are not using it responsibly, that's when the problem is arising.
Yes. Right.
They, the, like what do you think can be done so that people can become more responsible when they're using this?
I think one of it would be, again, they need to be educated about where they are going to put the money. There are a lot of people who take loans for random nonsense things. Like, people take it to gamble, right? And a lot of households have like just suffered because of people falling into the gambling debt. And if you actually see, there are a lot. I think people have fled places, changed locations because they couldn't pay back. That's how much they owed someone. Now, I think again, if I don't know how a credit card company could track that, but once the payment is done, maybe they'll know where the payment is going to, or that can be used to track it, and not, maybe you can't stop the person from taking the credit the first time, but when the payment is done, you'll obviously know where the payment or the money is going, right? So if you can see a pattern of it just going into all these shady businesses, possibly not give them the loan. uh, I don't know if all the credit card companies would agree to doing that, but
Maybe some
that's
statistics can be
yeah.
given out, like the people are spending a lot on these
Huh.
buying these stuff, which is
Because
actually not.
financial transactions can be tracked.
So I think at the end of the day, banks are also businesses. They want to make profits, and they also have targets. Uh, like they have targets that their employees have to fulfill. So we all know that people keep calling us for like, please take a credit card, or like you're eligible because you're a customer, especially the customers of that particular bank. They'll say, okay, you're a customer from so many years or something, so now you're eligible for a credit card. We are happy to offer you or something, and then they actually don't state the terms and conditions in during the call. And in that call, if they manage to convince the customer, then uh, they don't give that time for the person to make a wise decision or consult someone else and then take the credit card. So that is, I think, a problem in the system. And another thing is, each and every e-commerce website or whatever, like famous websites, are offering EMIs for even the smallest of products. Like if you put some 2 3 products into your cart, there is an option to pay later or through EMI. So that is also a problem. Like banks sending some messages to people already, those who are their customers, saying that you're eligible for a like not only credit cards, like you're eligible for a personal loan or something like that, which might not be necessary for that person. But when they receive such marketing messages, they'll feel like, okay, maybe I can use this money for something else that I don't need, and they end up taking such loans or taking such credit cards.
In a regulated market, like when a bank or some small finance banks, when they are giving out credit cards, and loans, it's more it is safe. They actually analyze if the person is like he's worthy of that amount of loan. But now, if you see nowadays, there are like random credit cards. They issue random credit cards. There are few banks which I, where they give you this credit card limit based on the FD that you deposit in that bank.
Hmm.
That is a sure way of ensuring that you will
Be
repay
able to
back.
pay back.
Yeah. So if you have an FD in that bank for, let's say, around 5 lakhs, your credit limit is 5 lakhs. Only once you pay back that 5 lakhs, you can take another credit of 5 lakhs. That is not that ensures safety, but that's that's not the whole point of a credit card actually. But that ensures people don't misuse a credit card. So that is one way we can ensure. Basically, whoever as you like users of a credit card or a loan, should be sound financial planning is the utmost thing. You
The
should
foundation of buying,
yeah.
taking a credit card.
If you know how to use it, you will also benefit. So will the whole system. So if you properly analyze your finances, you'll be making like
A good use of
a good use of a credit card or a debt